Ever walk down, like, the grocery store aisle and
Yeah.
just kind of think, man, how do we get here?
Right.
It's like mountains of food, every variety imaginable. You'd think we'd be struggling to, like, feed everyone, but
It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it?
totally. And it kind of makes you wonder, how did we go from, like, our grandparents' gardens to
Mhm.
lab-grown meat and vertical farms?
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. This whole evolution of our food system from those simpler times to the age of GMOs and beyond, the how, the why, and what it all means for us.
Exactly. So, like, before we get into the whole GMO debate, can we rewind a bit? Paint a picture of what those, like, traditional farming practices even were.
Absolutely. Think smaller scale, often family run,
Mhm.
really understanding the land, working with natural fertilizers, carefully timed planting.
Crop rotation, all that jazz.
Exactly. Crop rotation, relying on natural methods to manage pests. It was all about working with nature, not necessarily trying to, outsmart it.
And the yields weren't always, like, massive, right?
Right. Yields weren't always as abundant, no.
Yeah.
But there was a different kind of knowledge involved, a deep understanding of the ecosystem and how everything interacted.
It makes you wonder, though, did that impact, like, the taste?
Hmm?
Were those old school veggies just better?
Better is subjective, of course.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting question because we're not just talking about flavor, are we? Nutritional content plays a role, and that can be affected by so many things: the soil, the weather, the specific variety of the plant.
Right.
What we do know is that older varieties were often bred for taste and their ability to thrive in very specific climates.
While today it's all about
While modern farming sometimes prioritizes, well, different traits like size, uniformity, and the ability to withstand long-distance shipping. Think about it. A tomato that bruises easily isn't going to make it from, say, California to New York.
True, true. Okay, that makes sense. So that brings us to the elephant in the room, I guess. GMOs, they're everywhere, but I feel like most people, myself included, don't actually get what they are.
It's easy to get lost in all the noise, for sure.
Right. So break it down. Like, what is a GMO?
Okay, so GMO stands for genetically modified organism. Basically, it means scientists have tweaked the DNA of a plant or animal in a lab to
To do what exactly?
introduce a trait that wouldn't occur naturally. It's kind of like giving a plant a tiny built-in vaccine against a disease
Or
or
making it, like, drought resistant or something.
exactly. That's a great example. A good example of this is the papaya. In the 1990s, the Hawaiian papaya industry was being devastated by a virus. GMO papayas, engineered with resistance to this very virus, were introduced and basically they saved the industry.
Wow. So these GMOs, they were designed to, like, solve problems.
Exactly. Increase yields, make crops more resilient to pests or harsh environments.
That was the goal, at least.
But no good deed goes unpunished.
Right.
There's always another side to the story.
Of course. And it's important to talk about those concerns. Some people worry about the long-term effects of GMOs on human health, like,
Right, allergies and stuff.
yeah, allergies, things like that, although the scientific evidence there is, I have to say, pretty inconclusive.
And then you have ecological concerns, like the impact of monoculture farming, planting vast fields with a single genetically identical crop.
Right, and how that affects everything from biodiversity to soil health.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's the economic side of things, the fact that a handful of big corporations now control a significant portion of the seed supply. That's a whole other conversation.
It's a lot. It's like every side you look at, there's another layer. So for the average person just trying to shop for, dinner, how do we make sense of it all? What are the things we should be looking out for?
Well, first off, don't panic.
Easy for you to say.
I know, but seriously, knowledge is power. And luckily, we have more access to information than ever before.
True. So where do we start?
Start with the labels. Even if it feels like you need a dictionary at first, just familiarize yourself with the term.
Like organic, non-GMO. What?
Those are big ones. Organic generally means it's grown without synthetic pesticides, and non-GMO, well, that indicates no genetic modification. But it goes beyond just the buzzwords. Think about the journey your food has taken. Where was it grown? How was it processed?
So like locally sourced is usually a good sign.
Often, yes. Locally sourced often means less processing, fewer preservatives, and a smaller carbon footprint. And hey, supporting local farmers markets can be a fun weekend activity.
There you go. 2 birds, 1 stone. This has been seriously eye-opening. I feel like I need to go reevaluate my entire pantry now. But, before we wrap up, I have one last thought I want to throw out there. Imagine if the choices we made at the grocery store, could actually influence, like, the future of food.
I like the way you think.
What does your ideal plate look like? What can each of us do, like starting today, to get closer to that vision?
It's an important question, and one that deserves more than just a past thought. The power really is in our hands and the choices we make every day.